Welcome to the Wellness in Asheville podcast, where we shine a light on the people, practices, and places that make this city one of the most inspiring wellness communities in the country. I'm your host, Travis Richardson, founder of Be Well Asheville, your local news source for health, wellness, and community events. Today, I'm joined by Robin and Corey Costanzo, the visionary duo behind Stillpoint Wellness here in Asheville, known for Esalen Massage, saltwater flotation therapy, and integrative healing experiences. Together, they've cultivated one of the most respected and transformative healing spaces in Western North Carolina. And honestly, this conversation couldn't be more timely. A recent 2025 study showed that 66% of American employees are experiencing burnout. This is the highest level ever recorded. Gallup polls report that 60% of workers feel emotionally detached at work. 19% describe themselves as miserable, and only 33% say they're truly engaged. So our nervous systems are pretty much collectively on fire. In the U.S., we are a frenetic culture, aren't we? Competitive, impatient, always producing something. The pressures of global capitalism funnel us toward exhaustion. So choosing to slow down is more than a lifestyle. It's really a radical act of healing. But slowing down isn't always easy. And sometimes healing requires a progression. First putting your phone down, then stepping your bare feet into the grass, then sitting against a tree for a few minutes, then maybe a foot soak, and then a massage, and who knows, maybe then a float tank session. And that is exactly the journey Robin and Corey invite us into through their work at Stillpoint Wellness, guiding people from chronic stress into profound reconnection, one healing experience at a time. So let's go ahead and welcome both of them to the show. Well, welcome, Robin and Corey, to the Wellness in Asheville podcast. I'm excited to talk about all things stress, nervous system, and more today, and also about my experience in the float tank.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, so good to be here, Travis. Thanks for inviting us.
It's really a timely discussion that we're having about the nervous system. I mean, so many people I talk to are just so stressed, and there's just so much. It's like the anxiety feels just really thick in the air sometimes. I recently, when I went into Stillpoint to do my float, I just was like, man, this place just put me at ease. Everything about that place just literally settled me down, and so there's so much more. There's so much there to talk about around the nervous system. But I want to start with both of your stories, because I'm curious about how each of you have arrived as co-owners and how you arrived to where you are today.
Sure. So let's see. Long story short, I grew up in New York City, Astor College in Vermont, went to Manhattan and worked for a startup company, brand new startup company that grew really, really fast. And then I was part of that rise. Went from I was the 10th employee to 500 employees. It was called Delia's young teenage clothing catalog company. And I just realized that no matter how much I made, I spent the same amount, and my quality of life did not go up. So I realized pretty quick in my mid-20s that was just unsustainable. And I was looking for something more conducive to what I really love to do, which was connect with people. And yeah, that's what led me on the path of self-inquiry, the path of counseling and body work and massage, and pretty much landed at the Esalen Institute in Big Sur, and that was where I met Robin. We fell in love, had a kid, learned all sorts of things, health related and psychology related. Went to graduate school for somatic psychology in the early 2000s, and yeah, here I am today.
Wow. Well, I have a lot of questions about what you just said there, but let's let Robin take a stab at her story here.
Yeah, thank you, Travis. Well, I actually grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, and found my way out to California because my mom moved out there at some point when I was in college. And we lived in Oakland for a while, and our house burned down in the Oakland fire. And I think it was like, uh, can't remember the year of that now. It's all feels like a blur. It was a long time ago. Anyway, that was a big transformational moment. And my mom went to Esalen Institute, and my brother and I followed her not long after. I think that was about 1991 or 1992. And we all ended up staying there. And I spent 16 years living at the Esalen Institute and working on the massage staff there, and began teaching massage and yoga, and met Corey. And in 2008, we moved to Asheville.
So I think the obvious first question that I have is, and I think anybody listening who has not heard of, I actually happen to know what Esalen is a little bit, just because I'm a former massage therapist in a past life, among a million other things. But could you just give a rundown of what Esalen is? And also somatic psychology. That's also a term we should probably just spell out here.
Yeah. Well, I'll take a stab at what Esalen is. The Esalen Institute, it's in Big Sur, California, right along the Highway 1 coastline. And it started in the mid-60s as the first center for human potential. And so all things sort of human potential-wise, therapy and massage and self-inquiry practices, many workshops and trainings happen there. It's a retreat center. And it's located in probably one of the most beautiful places in the world, right on the coast there, overlooking the ocean, and has hot springs. And so it's been a place that's drawn many people over the decades, sort of a mecca of the human potential movement.
Yeah, many people and books and textbooks will credit it with the birthplace of Western massage. And it drew lots of thinkers in diverse fields like Buckminster Fuller, Fritz Perls, who started Gestalt psychology, Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and Alan Watts. Who else? Gabriel Roth, who started the 5 Rhythms dance practice. Just lots of people that took education and brought it to the forefront in terms of the direct experience. So, the only way to really get education at that point, was higher education and, university setting. But at Esalen, they were just all experimenting with all sorts of things and ways to be, ways to live, different perceptions and ways to think. And it has really shaped, like there are scholarly books written about the Esalen Institute's role in shaping the fabric of our culture through the counterculture movement in the 60s and the human potential movement. And it's still alive today and is, kind of one of the first places that created the model of experiential learning through workshops. Not to mention, it's the mountains right into the sea, and these hot springs Robin are talking about are world-class, gorgeous, built into the side of the cliff hot springs.
Yeah, I haven't been out there, but anywhere that has hot springs, I'm already an immediate fan. Who doesn't love a great hot spring? So would you say that flotation therapy is an extension of Esalen, or is that different? Is that part of, how does all that play into what you all are doing over there?
Absolutely is an extension of the mindset of what happens at the Esalen Institute, because it's all about experimentation. So when I go into the float tank, it takes such an incredible amount of permission to let go of the mind, to let go of the thoughts, to let go of the attachment that the float experience is going to be is going to be anything, and just be present with my thoughts, be present with the tension in my body, with my breath. And because you're floating atop a solution that's a warm solution with 1,500 pounds of dissolved Epsom salts, you don't have to hold any tension in the body. So minute by minute by minute, you start realizing, oh, I just had this thought about what I need to do later on tonight, and I tensed my left arm. And then you're like, wow, that's very interesting. So you let the left arm go. It connects the dots of the mind body in connection with one another. Yeah.
Could I share my my experience? I think feels like an appropriate.
Here we'd love to hear.
Yeah, it's just it feels like an appropriate time to share. Is that so? My float experience. I mean, I go in and it's this dark place. Feels very. I don't know how to would say intimate with, in the best of meanings, with myself, because here that is all I have. It's just me in this dark space. So it's to begin with, it's a little unnerving, but you're like, okay, it's warm, it's safe. There's everything that there's nothing to be afraid of here. So you relax in, and the very first thing I notice is just this aliveness in my skin. Just everything's feeling like you feel your skin in a way that even massage doesn't actually get to. And I don't know what it is about the salt or the float, but there's this aliveness. And that was really, really fascinating to watch. And then just like you said, I noticed there were times when I would have tension in my stomach in different areas that I had no idea. But like as I'm laying there, parts of me I can feel are relaxed. Like, oh, my arms are really relaxed. But then my stomach is all tightened up. And I'm like, oh, wow, what's going on there? So I'm like, okay, let's relax the stomach. But then all of a sudden my leg is tense and it's flinching and it's like spasming or something. I don't even know what's going on. And I'm like, okay, let's relax the leg. Oh, I'm tensing up my stomach again now. And so I'm doing this dance with myself all the entire session. It feels like, okay, then I get the body relaxed and my mind is just going, oh man, my mind is going. So I'm looking at my thoughts. Okay, just relax. You've got, 90 minutes in here or whatever it was. I'm like thinking, oh man, can I even be in here for 90 minutes? Am I going to make it through this thing? And then as I'm focusing on the thoughts, the body starts tensing up again. And I know that maybe doesn't sound pleasant for a listener to hear that, as far like, well, how is that relaxing? But I think what it taught me is that I don't know that I ever fully relax, ever. That's the lesson. And it was like, holy cow. I think I need more of, I need to train myself how to relax. It sounds crazy, right? Like I need to learn the skill of relaxing my nervous system.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that you shared that, Travis, because the float tanks, along with the style of massage that we offer, Esalen Massage, is very much focused on this understanding that when we're able to become more self-aware, which it sounds like was the exact experience you were having in that float tank, this sudden awareness of yourself and your own, nervous system and mind. And when we begin to become more self-aware, then we begin to have more choice. And so both the float tank offers that opportunity for more self-awareness, as does Esalen Massage. Because in the massage as well, we're not aiming to try to force anything to happen. Just like in the float tank, we're aiming to help someone become more aware of their own holding patterns, to offer more choice or opportunity, right? And then when you do figure out how to relax your own nervous system, it's a much deeper, more profound experience than someone going in and doing it for you.
Yeah, I guess you can learn. I guess you learn the skill on your own so that you can replicate it wherever you are in any situation. Because if you get good at feeling into your body and knowing where the tension spots are, you can more autonomically just let go, and so that you don't have to think so much about it. How does this affect? How do people that are experiencing, let's call it grief or trauma or any emotional and the reason I'm asking this is because I've had experiences where I'm going through tons and tons of grief. And the thing I did that helped me the most was go to a sweat lodge. And there was something about the dark, hot sweat. I don't know what it was, but it was the only place that I felt like I could let go and release. And I'm curious how people with trauma or experiencing trauma or grief, uh, how they experience the float, because it's sensory deprivation, and that's happening at the exact time when the senses are flooded with a massive shock to the nervous system. How do you approach that with someone like that, or is it even recommended to do a float if you're going through that?
It's absolutely recommended for times of grief, mainly because really with grief, the way out is through. So if I have any kind of resistance to grief, if I just mask the grief, that's not going to be sustainable. That's going to wind up getting literally stuck, because in order to mask, you really have to hide your essential self. Like, there's an inner call to grieve, and if I thwart that self-expression, then it takes a lot of energy to do that. And that's not a sustainable pattern. You see some cultures with grieving, and I mean, they let it rip, and, a lot of times in our culture, that's it's a little bit more repressed. And of course, I'm speaking kind of, globally in our culture, but I would encourage you, if you wanted to, use the float tank as an environment to allow yourself to feel those feelings. It could be a very safe way for you to just let whatever wants to arise from your inner wisdom, to let it arise naturally, and the way out is through. I like to think, and I learned in graduate school in somatic psychology, which somatic meaning the body. So psychology of the mind body in relationship to one another. We learned that the nervous system and like the subconscious is not going to give you anything you can't handle. So the way I like to think of it is, go in with an open mind, with a curious mind, and you have some tools, the breath, and staying present, and what is likely to arise is likely going to be exactly what your inner wisdom is ready for you to experience.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of like nervous system and downshifting into some of these more wholesome states of being, is there, because the problem I always have is I will go get a massage, say, or maybe I'll go to a yoga class, or even with the float, I come back home and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that this is the way I want to be. I want to be more of this. And it reminds me. But then the next day, I'm just pulled right back out of that. How do you hold on to these experiences when it seems and it feels like life just sucks you right back out?
Guess that's the big question we all have.
I'm asking you the hard ones, guys.
I mean, ultimately,
Integration.
yeah, I think integration. I think, it's about building it into your life's habits. For me, getting a massage or going to a yoga class or floating in the flow tank isn't just like kind of a one-off. I'm going to do this thing. It's going to fix all my problems and I'm going to just be like enlightened. No, it's like, part of my self-care routine. And it's part of my preventative routine. So that's how I like to see these practices. Is like I'm establishing like regular, weekly. If I probably get a massage every week. Weekly habits of returning and like resetting, pushing the reset button. That's how we often talk about the float tank is like an opportunity for pushing the reset button or getting a massage, as a way to just continue to remind my system, you know, and let that be the place that I rest in for as long as I can. And, I just have to keep, because life just takes, there's a lot of stressful things going on out there that can suck us in really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to echo what you just said, Robin, of turning these things into practices where it could be daily. It could be a 10-minute meditation practice. It could be a mindful walk. It doesn't have to be something that breaks the bank or something that costs a lot of money. Massage can get pricey for a lot of folks. So like it could be very simple, small ways. Like I'm a big fan of the Headspace meditation app. And this is just, I did it for 5 years. I stopped for a couple of years because I had a different form of daily meditation. And now recently I just got back onto Headspace and it is just so brilliant. And it's so inexpensive and such a brilliant way to very quickly develop a daily guided, simple meditation practice that is evidence-based and can be really helpful for a lot of people. The most important thing is integration. How do I integrate this experience into my life? And like Robin said, the best way to integrate one of these wellnessy experiences into your life is to continue on as a practice. So, Headspace is just a great way to integrate these things. And meditation is a loaded word for a lot of people, and it's, for me, at least in the beginning, it was like, where the hell do I start? Like, I see people sitting on the cushion for an hour straight. They're not moving a muscle. I can't do that for an hour. You just start really, really small, 5 minutes, and if you just know a couple of techniques, little by little by little by little, you start growing a practice. And then really what you learn how to do is to regulate your own nervous system.
Mm.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little about that, because I think, well, what we're describing to me sounds like habit formation. And that, we have, if you go to a personal trainer, they're going to work with you on developing habits around eating healthy food and working out. And we are all very familiar with this. What we're not so familiar with are the habits that go and tackle this idea of what you just said, nervous system regulation. And I think the reason is because they're much less tangible. We don't really quite connect, what am I going to get out of meditating or doing a practice of grounded walking or forest bathing or something like that, right? So the question, I guess, is what can somebody expect who really digs in and makes it a habit out of meditating or doing these practices? Like, how can their life change? What can they get out of it? Like, what would you say to somebody to persuade them to give it a try?
Well, I mean, for me, meditation, whether it's I'm sitting on the cushion or dancing or singing or getting a massage, it's the way it is, like the way into my own internal experience. So into my body, into that, like, call it the felt sense, like what's happening on the inside. Right. So I think that's one of the keys is like finding what type of modality are you going to show up for? Are you going to do? And then once you find that thing that you're going to show up for, it's like coming into that curious space of like, and that willingness to just kind of what you said earlier about going into the float tank and what an intimate space that it was with yourself. I mean, that's been my experience too. It's just like being willing and curious to drop into an intimate space with yourself and just like, it's almost like for me anyway, it's been kind of like falling in love with being in this body and what that means for me and what it means to be human in this body. And so, I mean, that's coming in and then just being like open to developing that relationship is really what it's about for me.
Yeah, I love that, Robin. And I like to think of it like presence is love. So if I'm being present with myself, I'm showing myself love. Just like if I'm being present with my kid or with my pet or with you, Robin, and that's showing you love. Yeah, and meditation is the ultimate in that, but there's so many different ways to do it, like Robin mentioned.
I was talking to a recent podcast guest, and I was telling him how I had a conversation with my partner recently, and we were talking about noticing that our relationship patterns where, sometimes when you're with someone long enough, you can often, you're not talking to them like you did when you first met them. Let's just say that you drift away from assuming positive intent 100% of the time. You're maybe at 90 or 80 or sometimes, of course, worse. And what we came out of it, so we do a relationship check-in weekly. And what came out of it is I decided that what I wasn't doing was seeing her like it was the first time each day. So I've got this pattern of not seeing her as a new person. Well, the reason I'm bringing this up is because when you go into the float tank, when you go get a massage, let's say you've never done these practices before, it is as if you're meeting yourself for the first time. You're seeing yourself new. And so if you have like disparaging thoughts about yourself and maybe they're ongoing and maybe you don't like yourself, part of the problem is you're not seeing yourself new. You're seeing something that doesn't exist. It's in the past. It's not real. Honestly, it's just not real. It may feel real, but you're not looking at yourself in the most present now sense of that word. Am I making sense?
Oh, absolutely. I so agree. And Corey and I have been married 20 years now. We have these conversations frequently.
Yeah.
And it's really real. It's like, how do you just like show up anew every day with your partner or with yourself and open your heart to what's alive right now and right here in front of you.
So, yeah, I feel like I just have to name that gratitude, is such an incredible way to get to that place of newness, moment to moment, day to day. And, gratitude practice, I hear it all over the place now, and it's all over the place for a reason. It works. It's amazing. Just being grateful for whatever you see around you, or whatever I have in my life, in the moment. Gratitude for my breath, gratitude for Robin in my life, gratitude for our health, gratitude that we own our own business, gratitude for our clients. I mean, just for the skills that I've accumulated. Like, it's just so much to be grateful for. There's a million things that I can think of right now to be grateful for. And research shows that when we orient towards gratitude, we're healthier. Our immune functions, our immune markers are higher. Quality of life goes up. There's less cortisol, the stress hormone that gets released biochemically, and more serotonin and oxytocin, the love hormone. And gratitude practice is a thing. Like the yogis, the monks, the mystics, the priests, the rabbis, like all of them, they knew this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is like ancient knowledge that we've lost, and it's scientific, right? Like
Totally.
I mean, it doesn't need to feel like spiritual woo stuff. It's like, this is really just evidence-based science that says gratitude works.
I think it's one of the best secrets in all of wellness is that we can facilitate the release of biochemicals with our minds. Gratitude practice is a very clear and evident and quick way to do it. You sit here for 20 seconds and think of several things that you're grateful for, and you will release serotonin in your pituitary gland and your hypothalamus gland, or
hippocampus, maybe.
It's a hippo.
I don't know. It's something hippo.
Yeah. Pituitary. I forget. Anyway,
it's all right.
Best kept secret in wellness.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of that author on water, Masaru Emoto, I think his name was. You probably remember the work he did and still doing. I haven't followed him for years, but he produced a book and research on water crystals and showing how love and gratitude. And later they did this with experiments with rice. They would take rice in containers, and one they would wrap the words of love and gratitude on it, and the other they would say hateful things to it. But they would show that the rice that was given love and gratitude was preserved for longer. It took longer for the bacteria to form there. And in the water examples, beautiful crystalline structures, the patterns were really very geometric and such. And I think about that's what you are as water. So if it's true what he's showing here, you literally can change the crystalline geometric structure of the matrix that you are, which is water, which is pretty freaking powerful. I mean, I don't know if exercise can do that.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about is it is affirmation. Affirmation gets a bad rap on Saturday Night Live. It's easy to make fun of affirmation, but if anyone out there is listening and you've ever practiced affirmation, it is a very, very powerful practice, and it can manifest and attract what you want to your life. It's another one of those secrets, that our thoughts and our words are so powerful that we could literally create the kind of experience that we want to have with how we're using our thoughts and using our words.
Yeah. Yeah. Powerful modality just in that alone. So curious how you feel just overall about Asheville as a wellness community. I mean, in my opinion, it's just a burgeoning place for healers and practitioners. To me, it seems like we should be like nationally known for our healing, because I think per capita we got to have the highest number of healers here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Asheville has a long time history of attracting people for their own healing. I think in the turn of the century, people came here in mountains, to heal their lungs, and we are, we've been here in Asheville now for 17 years. We know a lot because I teach massage, and because we've been in the business, we know a lot of amazing practitioners and here in Asheville, and our philosophy is the more the better, right? Like that everybody benefits.
Rising tide carries all the boats. More the merrier.
Yeah. So I agree. I think Asheville should be known for a place to come and take in nature and the fresh mountain air and receive some great body work and some great modalities.
Saunas and Salt Cave, the sauna house. The Grove Park Spa, gosh, gotta love that place, right?
Yeah,
There's so many wonderful wellness businesses and incredible yoga, incredible Asheville Community Yoga. Robert and I have taught there. I do a weekly class there. Asheville Yoga Center. I mean, these mountains are just rich with healing modalities. Yeah. Come on,
Yeah.
all the folks from around the region, from the lowlands, from the highlands, from the west coast, the north and the south. Come on.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, we got you. We got you. We got plenty of places, plenty of amazing people that are ready to do their work. And I've met so many people just in my experiences here. And it's partly why I started Be Well Asheville and this podcast, is because I was just like, man, this is just a place that is perfectly situated to bring it all together and then to put it out there so people can come and receive. So,
Drip also. We just went there for the first time. If you haven't been there yet, it's
yeah.
outdoors, killer views, and cold plunge and sauna.
Yeah, drip sauna. Yeah, they're going to be on the podcast too, I think. Got them sort of talking to them now. But my experience there, and that brings me to another point, which is this idea. I was looking at this trends report, and social wellness is like a big trend now. I guess people doing stuff together. And you go drip sauna, and you can go to 5 or 6 people go into this nice little wood-fired thing, and you got that plus the cold plunge after, and then sometimes they're playing music, and it's like, man, they've got it together. This is a pretty cool thing going on. Do you see any trends like that, or any other wellness trends that you have taken note of in 2025?
Well, here's something that should be a trend. So I'm an addictions counselor, and that's the work. That's kind of my way into the counseling work through my licensure as a licensed clinical addiction specialist. And I'll tell you, there are some recovery places where people will go and spend tens of thousands of dollars for these kind of, to get recovery. Asheville has so many resources that I feel like a wellness trend should be somebody comes to Asheville and they just design their own recovery place. They get hooked with a counselor, and each day you can do a different modality. Each day you can go to a different place and, do hikes and do all sorts of things. And, 12-step groups and just all sorts of recovery related things. So if anybody's having an issue with addiction, come to the mountains, let the mountains nurture you. And there are so many options where, if you can't afford one of these private pay Betty Ford clinic type kind of, places where, you have to spend a lot of money to get these services, you could piecemeal it together here in Asheville. Of course, if you need the level of care of an inpatient place, by all means, get yourself that kind of help and support. But there are a lot of people, that are traveling for wellness where it's like, hey, I need a break. I need a couple of weeks where I'm not going to Cancun and, doing tequila boppers, where they hit you on the head with the house and do Sprite and tequila. A lot of people are traveling for wellness nowadays, and Asheville is just an incredible place to design your own wellness retreat where you have so many options to get really, really class A care and support. Yeah.
Sounds like a good business model for somebody to implement. So if somebody's listening and wants to go do a business, that's a good one. I like it.
Wellness Tours is doing something similar,
Yeah, Nicole.
Great job. Yeah.
I love the way that they curate those kinds of experiences. I've been seeing a lot more of these practitioner collaborations where they come together to create an experience that in and of themselves they couldn't do. So if you're a massage therapist, they pair you with maybe you get a massage, but then there's somebody who makes herbal teas that are the best herbal teas, and after that you do, I don't know, you jump in the river or something.
Totally.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on. Last section here is some rapid fire question favorites here. Daily self-regulation rituals that you each rely on. What are they?
I'm going to go relationship with this one. There are times, I did it twice in the last 12 hours with Robin. We just looked at each other. We had a little kind of back and forth. And we're just like, hey, let's just hug it out. Come on. Let's just let it go. Take a few breaths.
Hold on. It can't be that easy, man.
No, I'm telling you, if you set it up in advance and be like, hey, when it gets past a certain level, let's just press pause on the conflict. Let's just give hugs and just breathe together for a few seconds and, co-regulate one another. That's one of the best things to a healthy, sustainable relationship is this concept of co-regulation where, we can help one another to regulate, keeps the relationship really strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
You got one, Robin?
Nice.
I've been putting some puzzles together with my daughters. That's fun.
Puzzles.
That works.
Puzzling.
That works. I like it.
Very
Okay.
meditative. Very meditative.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't done a puzzle for a really long time. I love puzzles.
Yeah.
You can spend you sit down for 10 minutes and 4 hours later, you're like,
What's that?
Where'd the time go? It's not a bad way to, yeah. All right. How about a book that changed the way you think about healing or nervous system, embodiment, somatic, any of the topics that you guys are interested in?
So my go-to for a really long time was The Untethered Soul. Oh gosh, what's his last name? Michael Singer. Yeah. And he wrote an autobiography called The Surrender Experiment. So those two books in tandem were game changers for me.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'll put those in the show notes.
I dove right into his whole system. This guy is awesome. Yeah. I did everything with him for a while.
Okay. I'll be looking it up. Yeah, Robin, how about you?
That's a hard one for me. I mean, how
about person? It doesn't have to be a book. Person.
Okay.
Source of information, anything like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I studied with Peter Levine and I met him, did his 3-year training. Really beautiful work, profound, simple, yet very sophisticated trauma resolution. Yeah.
Somatic experiencing is the modality, and he's written tons of books.
Yeah.
I've heard that name before, so that sounds like a well-liked guy. All right, last one here. Favorite off the radar place in Asheville to de-stress besides Stillpoint Wellness?
Well, our newest favorite, I don't know, we went to Drip Sauna a couple times last week. It was
shout out to Drip. All right.
Loved it. And I hear that there's this place in Old Fort that has a river spot, a bike park where you could rent bikes. There's a brewery. They have live music. I'm not sure the name of it. I haven't been yet, but I'm dying to go.
Huh. Me too. Let's go together, man.
Yeah. Yep, there.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
All right. Well, awesome. Thanks, guys. So how can listeners experience Stillpoint for themselves? I know we talked about a potential offering for somebody to get a little bit of a discount, maybe?
Absolutely. Well, we would love and welcome anyone to come experience our services over in East Asheville at Stillpoint Wellness. And we're happy to extend a 20% discount on your first floatation session or sauna. We also have a far infrared sauna. And so we'd love to extend that to your, listeners. And and we also have workshops. We have lots of classes and workshops as well. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Awesome talk today, and really appreciate both of your time. Wonderful spending time with both of you.
The hypothalamus and pituitary glands. Those are the glands. Those glands that secrete the biochemicals that basically are our emotions.
Dude, right at the end, you saved yourself just at the end. And listeners can't see, but I can see he didn't even look that up. That came to him out of his own brain. So good for you. Isn't that the HPA axis or something like that? Isn't there like an axis of some type?
Sounds right.
Sounds good.
Let's just say yes.
Yeah.
Good. That's it. You nailed it.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, y'all.
It was so nice to hang out with you.
Yeah, thank you much. Appreciate both of you. We'll talk soon.
All right.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Thanks, Travis.
Bye.
Bye.
To explore flotation therapy, Esalen Massage, or Stillpoint's full list of offerings, visit stillpointwell.com or call 828-348-5372 and make sure you take advantage of your 20% off your first float or sauna session. Thank you for listening. To learn more about Be Well Asheville, visit bewellavl.com. And don't forget to follow this podcast. You can catch the next episode and bring us along on your hike on the Mountains to Sea Trail, on your drive through the Parkway, or on your way downtown to Friday's Drum Circle. If you loved what you heard, please rate and review the show. Your review helps others discover and grow our wellness community. You can also check out Asheville Wellness News, events, and our newsletter at bewellavl.com. Thank you for being the best part of our wellness community. Until next time, be well.